Hello and welcome to TB3 Sports Talk, episode 50, the golden one. We did it. We're here. Now, on to 250.
Whoa, 250.
I feel like
you skipped 100.
100. Everybody gets to 100. We got to get 250.
What about the 100th day of school? Remember that? That was exciting. The 100th day of school. Like I work in schools, and I was like going to do after school, and I saw like all their 100 cows they drew, and I was like, dude, that's awesome, man. I remember the 100th day of school is awesome.
100's too easy. We got to get to 250.
I love 250. I love the goal.
It's a solid number.
Are we saying 250 like in episodes, or like we're counting special editions? And we'll get there.
I mean, we're way over 50 for doing special editions.
Yeah, we're probably like 60 special editions, probably 10 extra. That sounds about right. Maybe 65 or 55.
But yeah, as far as the main stuff, we're at 50.
Yeah.
It's a huge milestone. Pop your confettis and your poppers at home. I know you guys all have them in anticipation for this episode because it's a big one. It's important to us. It means a lot to us that we're doing this, and we couldn't have done it without viewers like you. Thank you for following the Instagram page, the Twitter page, liking the YouTube videos, watching them, listening to us on Spotify. And I feel like we've come a long way as a podcast and a sports talk show.
And people. We know we've grown as people, definitely as podcasters. Like I feel like I have improved my speech and my vernacular so much more, and my enunciation. But more than that, we really just are appreciative of you guys watching, whether you've liked a random Instagram reel, or you subscribed on YouTube, or you're one of our buddies that are supporting us, or Twitter, whatever you're here from. We appreciate every single one of you guys. I feel like this has been our first year of kind of growing and figuring stuff out, and I feel like now we can just put our pedal to the metal and start grinding it out, because I feel like we've grown so much over a year and 50 episodes in.
Yeah, we've done a lot of stuff. I mean, if you're one of the OG listeners, we were filming on a singular microphone. No video either. Sometimes it'd be some weird quality too. We would have some technical difficulties. Now we have a camera. You can see our faces. We have a cool edit thing back there.
For better or for worse?
I think it's for better.
I think it's for better too. We're young strapping lads.
I'm somewhere in the middle. It's like, woo,
Joel,
didn't look good on that episode.
You're handsome.
People want to see your emotion now. You know, you could be talking this and that into a mic. They see your face. They can really see how you feel.
I've been told by an anonymous viewer that my faces that I make when other people are talking on the panel are hilarious, and that they watch the YouTube video just for that. I think it's usually when you talk well.
When
maybe
what's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Sometimes I feel like you come with some bogus takes, mostly when it's involving the Seminoles.
I'm over here just like looking at daisies on the floor when you guys are talking. I'm like,
I'm trying to look at the camera more. I've been watching the videos more often, and I've been trying to, when I talk, look at the camera, because I feel like my eyes are going to like the hamburger costume in the background instead of the camera. So I'm going to try to do that, guys. Another thing, like we said, we're still learning. We're still trying to pump out content. 50 is not enough for us. We're going for 250, and then after that, we're going for 500. So we're appreciative of you guys, but you guys are here to listen about Rays and Bucs. So if you guys have any other things we want to get out of this intro.
Yeah, I mean, I like the camera too, because I feel like I got a nice little wardrobe of Tampa Bay merch. You know, I like showing it off, although I did wear the same thing twice now, 2 episodes back to back.
Wow.
This is my coach's jacket. I'm ready for Bucs football, man. I'm locked in.
And it is back. Yeah, we were all, just so you guys know, when there was no video, we were still all repping Tampa Bay, even when there was no video, because we wanted to get in the habit and we wanted to bring the good vibes. And that's how you bring the good vibes, by wearing the merch.
You look good, play good.
Yes, sir.
Come in uniform.
We do. This is our uniform. And this is our basketball. Okay. Cringe. All right.
That was really cringe. Enough with the sap. Let's talk some sports.
This is our intro. We're talking Tampa Bay sports. We're starting with the team that is playing games. This is the last week of the summer. We're not going to have 2 teams playing games. We only have 1 team playing games. It's the Tampa Bay Rays, and we're going to talk them because they have had. They went on the road. They went on the road since the last time we talked about the Rays. As we mentioned, there was a whole lot of stuff that went down at the trade deadline last week, and we're going to get into some of the results post-trade deadline, some of these guys that are coming back from injury. But this road trip after a split against Miami at home, giving them a 3-2 homestand at Tropicana Field, the Rays were
Houston?
they're going to Houston, but I'm trying to think, what was their record?
Since
They were 2 games above 500 headed into this road trip. That's what I was trying to say. 2 games above 500 headed into the road trip. And Friday night we had a little bit of a pitcher's duel as we had Shane Baz facing off against Yusei Kikuchi, his first game in Astros orange and navy. And it did not start off very good for Mr. Kikuchi, as the first 2 batters would reach, and one of those would be a big blast from a newly acquired Ray, Dylan Carlson, a 2-run home run into the Crawford box.
Who we predicted, by the way.
We called
Just
that.
throwing it out there.
It was pretty awesome. 2-run home run, Rays lead 2-0. However, the Rays would not get any more runs the rest of the game, and the Astros would, as in the 4th inning, they would tie the game up with 2 RBIs and make it a 2-2 game. And then some sloppy defense would lead to a run in the 7th as Yordan Alvarez would score on a fielding error by Christopher Morel, giving the Astros a 3-2 lead. The Rays tried to claw their way back. They got the runners into position, but they could not capitalize with those people in runners in scoring position. And they would lose this one 3-2. But the Rays would go into the next day looking to try to salvage this series, as the Rays would have Zeclatel on the bump versus Ronel Blanco, a guy who's been pitching really well for the Astros. And this game did not start off great, as John Singleton would hit a solo home run to put the Astros up 1-0. But then after that was all Rays, and it started in the top of the 5th with a Josh Lowe 2-run home run. It's 2-1 Rays. And then in the top of the 7th, the Rays would go yard twice. Yandy Diaz a solo home run, and then Josh Lowe again another home run to make it 4-1 Rays. Then top of the 9th, the Rays would get even more insurance with a Brandon Lau 2 RBI single, 6-1 Rays. That would be your final score. Great pitching, good offense, Rays win. And then they're looking for a series win on Sunday. It would be a bullpen day. Hunter Biggie would start off, and he would start off pretty shaky. He would give up a hit and 2 walks to load the bases. But good old Tyler Alexander, who has pitched really good since coming up, would come in, get out of that jam, and go 4 1/3 innings pitch, only giving up 2 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, 0 earned runs. And that would go for the whole Rays pitching staff. They would throw a shutout, and in the top of the 3rd, Brandon Lau would get an RBI double to put the Rays up 1-0, and that is all they needed. This would be a 1-0 win for the Rays to win a series in Houston.
Kind of frustrating series. Felt like, Saturday was awesome for sure. Josh Lowe, 2 home run type day. Other than that, not a lot of scoring. Again, not being able to hit with runners in scoring position. It was frustrating, but like I said, time and time again, it gives us hope when this team can still, on the road, come away with 2 out of 3 wins.
You gotta love Sunday's 1-0 game. Like, there's just something about a 1-0 Rays game when you're on the edge of your seat whole game and you're like, can they do it? And they do it. It's like, there's something about that. That's cool.
Yeah, it shows you how good and how dominant Rays pitching has been. Kind of like a bullpen day. Tyler Alexander starts off pretty in a bad spot there. Gives up two walks and a hit. All of a sudden, bases are loaded. Gets out of it.
That was Biggie. Biggie gave
Biggie?
up that. He opened that game.
Oh, Biggie opened it. My bad. Yeah, Biggie opened it, gets out of it. Then Tyler Alexander comes in, hustling, makes a great play to get it out at first.
That was athletic.
He plays with some intensity.
That was
man.
an athletic play.
He is just unreal. I'm starting to fall in love with this guy. I really am. Our bald hero, mustache looks great. But yeah, all of those pitchers combined that day only give up 3 hits total. What a solid performance. You can't ask for better. But like I said, 1-0 is still fine and dandy. You got the win. It is frustrating, though. Let's put some runs up so we're not on the edge of our seats, biting their fingernails, shivering at the TV, hoping we can somehow pull away with this.
That's Rays baseball.
It's not often you win a game 1-0. It's pretty rare. It's crazy how much the Rays have done it this year. 1-0, 2-0, 2-1 type games, but it is still frustrating.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Joel's right. This is Rays baseball right now, is scratch as many runs as you can possibly can on the board and kind of just hope and pray that your pitching staff doesn't have a dud, because obviously this pitching staff is uber talented. honestly, from the starters to the bullpen right now, it is looking fantastic. And I know there's a couple guys, but pitchers are bound to have a bad game. That happens. And unfortunately, right now, the Rays are banking on their pitchers to have kind of elite stuff every night because their offense is just not in a place where it can make up a multi-run deficit. It just can't do that. It's unfortunate. Double-digit strikeouts for the Rays in all three of these games in Houston. That's kind of what sticks out to me is the Rays have got to do a better job of situational hitting. There's just too many times where, you have a leadoff double and you're not getting the guy over. You have the man on third with less than 2 outs and you're not making contact. Too many strikeouts, poor situational hitting, and it didn't come to bite them in this game, in this series, but it did come up. It's going to come back to bite them, and it has already in the St. Louis series.
That brings me to one question, and we don't know the answer, but does Houston have a 10 strikeout special? Because if they do, you're welcome.
Yeah, we were ringing it up for them.
Yeah, they had
just
it
put a restaurant in bankruptcy.
I think they had it like 4 games in a row because they were even on like a streak before the Rays series. So, yeah, they probably went crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what they would have there. We got Tijuana Flats.
Like Whataburger. It's Texas.
Whataburger.
It's pretty good.
In-N-Out. They got In-N-Out, too.
They do. Not in Houston. In Dallas, they have it.
It's just Dallas?
No. It's not in Houston, though, I don't think. I think we would have eaten it. I've been to Minute Maid. Nice ballpark. Terrible team. Cheaters. Anyways, what I'm looking at is on Friday night, I mean, the Rays go back yak shot with Dylan Carlson to give them a 2-0 lead. Yandy Diaz doubles. Dylan Carlson hits a home run. And you're like, man, this is looking good, the offense. And then after that, I mean, Yusei Kikuchi gives up 1 more hit and 3 more walks in
8 straight strikeouts.
Yeah, 5 2/3 innings pitched. You can't jump on a pitcher and allow him to settle in like that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And it's just poor at bats. I mean, poor at bat after poor at bat, and it's like, I get this is not your best Rays lineup you've ever seen, but these guys are big leaguers. They've been big leaguers for a long time. I mean, looking at Taylor Walls, Jose Siri, Jose Caballero, Carlson, Alex Jackson's been in the bigs for a while. Rortvet's been in the bigs. These guys have played big league baseball for at least a year plus, and they're striking out like they're playing single A ball. I mean, it's crazy just to see the lack of quality at bats and the lack of plate approach at all. And I know I kind of said this and it kind of got shot down by the other two, but to me, I think if the Rays still have Chad Mottola as their hitting coach at the end of the season, I'll be very, very disappointed.
I shot you down on that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I mean, the problem is here's the thing, though, is like you say that, but it's like, whoa, who gets the credit last year for when they were hitting?
See, but here's my thing.
No. This sounds like Will was the only one on that because I would have printed a Fire Derek Shelton shirt back in the day if I could have. I believe hitting coaches have so much to play with hitting.
My thing is, I think the only reason Chad Mottola is not fired is because that kind of fluky start of 2023. And I understand that they hit well for the majority of the year, but I mean, look at the talent they had on that team. I mean, I think you could have just let them go out and have no approach at all, and they would have done good. I mean, Wander Franco, Yandy Diaz having a career year, and I get it, and I do think he gets a lot of credit for kind of the power surge that guys like Harold Ramirez and Yandy Diaz had. I think that was something that was a hitting coach approach that helped the team last year, was swing big and try to get the ball elevated in the air early in counts. I get that. We don't have a team like that this year, and the approach has not changed at all. I feel like every player, whether they should or should not, they swing big on the first pitch, the second pitch, and right now we don't have good enough players or the right type of players. They're not making contact, and they're getting in terrible counts. And I feel like the approach has not changed for the whole year, and it's kind of just like at this point it's like, what are we doing? I mean, Chad Mottola was a guy on my radar where I wanted him gone after 2022, and this team is very similar to 2022. I would say 2023 looks like more of a fluke than not. So I would like to see the Rays move on to a different hitting coach.
And I think that's part of the blessing of not making the playoffs this year is you can clean house on some of those things. Because in the past, when we've gotten that extra wild card spot that they put in, a guy like him is forgivable. And that was more part of the problem I had with the Bucs as well, where it was like, all right, if the Bucs make the playoffs, like, okay, head coach is going to stick around. And I've come to terms with that now, but it's like playoff save jobs.
Because they won a playoff game. It changed the whole complexity of Todd Bowles, man.
It did.
It really did.
Yeah, I don't know.
If he had lost that first round, I still think I would have called for his head, is what I'm saying.
I can see. If we got smoked, but I think just him getting back, I still would have given him another year. This year is going to be high expectations. It can't be a 9-8, 8-9 type year. We'll get to the Bucs in a little bit. I mean, my thing is still, it's like, how can you blame him too much when we have guys like Taylor Walls playing? We have guys like Alex Jackson playing. All the coaching you can put on guys, some guys just aren't going to hit at this level. And there's a lot of guys on this Rays team that I don't think would start or get a lot of playing time on other teams. And that's just simply the fact. I mean, we desperately needed hitting. Even after last year, we desperately needed hitting. The Rays did not address that. Now we want to blame all of those issues on the hitting coach. I'm not buying it. If you want to fire him, go ahead. This is a time for change, clearly. We're shaking up the roster. The new core is going to, set the foundation, new players coming in. Hopefully some guys come up and we go on another run. So fire him. I don't care. But I'm saying, like, the guys on this team I don't know if any coach could fix them. They might not just be big league hitters. Taylor Walls has not been able to prove that he's a big league hitter. His defense was great. It's still kind of good, but hitting, it's really never been there. Has never been there.
With Taylor Walls, though, he did have that hot stretch, so it's like, why can't he go into the film room, and kind of pick up on some of those things? Like, I feel like that's where the coach could be like, hey, when you were hitting hot for that third of the season, like, this is what you were doing. Can you go back to doing something like that?
I
don't. With him, that one's interesting.
That's kind of been my problem with Taylor Walls, though, and I don't know if this is on him or a hitting coach. But I always feel like Taylor Walls' approach at the plate has just been so wrong. I think this guy could be your everyday shortstop and you feel good about it if he could just hit for average and get on base. But I feel like he is the type of hitter where he's trying to lift the ball. And, I mean, he lifts the ball, but it just doesn't go anywhere. And I think he has an uppercut swing, especially from the left-handed side. I think Taylor Walls honestly could have been a guy who could have benefited from stop-switch hitting, and he could have he's so much better on the right side. I feel like he has a noodle bat from the left side. And I think if Taylor Walls focused on, he's obviously not going to be this guy, but if he could hit like Luis Ariz, where he's not trying to hit the ball hard, he's just trying to spray the ball over the field. If that was the type of player Taylor Walls was, he could be a plus player, because all he has to do is hit 250. And with his defense, which I think is still elite, and I think he's shown it this year. I think it was bad at the end of last year, but this year it's been good since it came up. If he can hit 250, get on base 350, and he can hit 5 home runs a year. I don't care. He just has to get on base, but he's hitting like 140 right now, and he's not spraying the ball. He's striking out too much, and when he hits the ball in the air, it goes nowhere because he doesn't have that type of power. So I feel like his approach has always been flawed, and the only time he got hot was when he was kind of hitting the ball out. Like, he had 5 or 6 home runs in like a couple months, which was like odd. And I think that kind of just plays into the fact that that was just a fluky stretch for the Rays. So I kind of feel like this probably has to go more on Taylor Walls than it does Chad Mottola. But Chad Mottola has been Taylor Walls' hitting coach throughout his time up in the bigs. So I think Taylor Walls, not to rip on the guy, but he's been atrocious at the plate. And I think his approach has always been flawed. And I think a simple fix would have made him a plus player. But now we're at the point where it's like, get him out of my lineup. It's just so tiring to see him in the lineup every single time.
Yeah, he needs to be demoted.
And, I mean, I don't know. It's still just not Taylor Walls. That's kind of the big one. But, I mean, you look across the outfield. Josh Lowe had a good season last year, but like you said, so did everybody. He's back to hitting around 200. I know he had a good game on Saturday, but still, that's one game. DeLuca, we've asked him to kind of step up and be an everyday type player, but I don't know if he'd be on the Dodgers this year. I don't know if he would make that major league roster to start the year at least. Jose Siri has never been, in short amount of games with the Astros, he hasn't been some 300 hitter or 270 even like that.
Jose Siri is what Jose Siri is going to be.
Yeah.
But here's the difference about Jose Siri. He runs into one at least once every 2 weeks, and he plays great defense. So here's the difference about him and Taylor Walls. You feel good about Jose Siri because he's playing elite defense, but he's also, has the pop, and he's being at least somewhat productive at the plate, where Taylor Walls has the really good defense, but he is an automatic out. That's not Jose Siri. You still have that power threat every single time, so he feels like a productive player.
Yeah, but my point really being is that, can we really blame everything on the coach when a lot of these guys just haven't been proven hitters in the league? Even Carlson, who he traded for, he hits a home run. He had a good season in 2021, but with injuries slowing him down, and then this year, even with the Cardinals, his first home run this whole season came on Friday, and he's had time playing with the Cardinals this season. So, again, that's another unproven hitter you bring to a lineup that's already struggling with runners in scoring position. How much can you really blame the coach?
But there is something to be said for a team-wide, underachieving. Johnny DeLuca is no slouchy prospect, and we've seen the potential, and I think he's been playing better recently, especially since Randy got traded. But he's underperforming. Walls, Caballero's giving you about what you think. Jose Siri's giving you about what you think. Diaz underperforming. Randy was underperforming when we were talking to him. Isaac Paredes, about where you see him at the end of the day after the hot start. Josh Lowe's underperforming. Alex Jackson, I feel like they had high hopes on him. He's underperforming at the plate. And to me, I think there's something to be said about a team-wide just lack of approach and, performance at the plate. I don't know if you guys heard that, but we're all good here.
We're haunted.
No, we're in a church. That's impossible. But, yeah, team-wide approach, not very good. I do think got to give blame to the players, but it's almost every single player, so I got to give some blame to the hitting coach. But are we on this topic? Because I want to talk about Josh Lowe for a second.
I got one more.
Yeah.
I know it's different in AAA, but these guys are pretty good in AAA, and then when they come up, it's like, where'd some of that talent go? So
I agree. It's like the joke around the Rays community is that we have quadruple A players, 4 A's, because they're great in AAA, but they can't hit the big leagues. And I do think maybe some of these players were never going to succeed in the big leagues, but these guys were highly rated prospects. Curtis Meade, if I'm not mistaken, he was a top 10 prospect, at least top 20. He was rated pretty high, and he comes up to the Rays, and it looks like he's just all out of whack. And he's played a little bit better since his second stint, but still not great. And it's like these guys are highly rated prospects, and it just feels like they don't have a good big league approach.
And it might not be the hitting coach. It might just be the mentality of the Major League Rays. But it's something at this point in the season you have to put under a magnifying glass and say, what's wrong?
Yeah, but I think Linares and Cash have had success. The Rays, other than 2021, hitting has been their downfall in their history of being competitive. At least this iteration. 2019, pitching was good, hitting was decent. They made the playoffs. 2020, other than Randy and Manuel Margot, they weren't really hitting in the playoffs. They were hitting bombs, but the pitching is what won them those playoffs. Pitching and Randy, that's what it was. 2021, that was the 1 year. That's in my book, that's the greatest Rays lineup of all time. That was a fantastic lineup, and they did not have the pitching to get it done, and they got exposed, and they got Fenway parked. And it still haunts me to this day, probably the most angry I've ever been at a Rays series loss. 2022, pitching was really good. Hitting was non-existent.
Hitting was terrible. I thought hitting that year was terrible, and then flash forward to this year, I've never seen.
And then 2023,
never seen worse.
2023, the final iteration of the team scores 1 run in two wildcard games. So hitting has kind of always held the Rays back, and that's been Mottola's tenure. So I think if I'm the Rays, especially if you don't make the playoffs, I'm looking to move on and hire a new hitting coach and revamp it a little bit.
I don't even know if that's on the table, though, if I'm being honest. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't see why not. We'll see. We shall
I don't see why not, but I'd also say, hey, Rays, like, let's spend some money or something. Let's see. Let's buy some big prospects. Let's sign Jock Peterson, get him on his 15th team.
Like
new uniform. Let's see what he can do with those guys.
It took like 3 years of Derek Shelton sucking for them to fire him, so I think Chad Mottola might have another
It's
year.
nearly been 5, though. I mean,
We'll see.
I do want to say, we mentioned this last week, but Josh Lowe has had a really good week. In 5 games last week, in this current week, I guess you could say, he's hitting .375. He has a .444 on base percentage with a 13.19 OPS, 2 doubles, 2 home runs, and every game that we've succeeded in, it's been some Josh Lowe magic. And he had a 4-for-5 night on the Saturday game against Houston. He has to start going if this Rays team wants to pick up the pace, win some games, and keep winning series and get into the playoffs. It's a must for him to get going in this Rays lineup.
Yeah, well, he was saying after the game against Miami that he had kind of tweaked some stuff with his swing and his approach, and he was able to fix some stuff mechanically, and then sure enough, a couple games later, we see a 4-hit night. So hopefully we will see more of that. Whatever he was working on, he has it fixed, and we can start seeing producing a lot more. Because, yeah, you're right. We do need him. It can't just be Brandon Lau being the only guy doing anything.
Yeah.
As much as we love him.
I
just love. There's something about Brandon Lau.
I love bald Brandon, man. But, yeah, Yandy Diaz has got to pick up the pace a little bit. Josh Lowe has to start going. Would like to see Christopher Morel start to contact the baseball a little bit more. I know he had a hot start, but ever since then it's been a walk or nothing. And, yeah, obviously, I think the bottom of the order, they're kind of doing their job. They get on base, but it just always seems like you got Taylor Walls or Alex Jackson up with runners in scoring position, or you got Jose Caballero or Siri, and there's just too many unproductive outs in the Rays lineup right now. So definitely want to see someone else in Brandon Lau get going, because the Rays have the pitching, but if the Rays hitting stays like this, they're gonna end up winning 81 games and losing 81 games and being 500.
Ooh, that's even hopeful optimism right there. That's the rule. 1/3 of the lineup has to be above average in their hitting,
and that has not been the case for a majority of the season. But yeah, that's Houston. I think we can move on to St. Louis unless we have anything.
Zach Littell looked great.
Yep, another 2 really good starts in a row. They were mentioning Zach Littell had a great August and September last year. Maybe he's just maybe he's an August and September lover, and he loves pitching late on in the season.
Playoff balls coming up,
Mr. October.
Dude, can't wait for Zach Littell to get the final out of Game 7 of the World Series when he's put into relief. Chills.
That'd be awesome. But yeah, I want to bring it up because I feel like, he really just had one bad pitch. Out of everything, really just came down to one bad pitch, and that was a home run. Other than that, he was perfect. Absolutely perfect. And I just want to bring it up, too, because last year, around like the exact same time, was when the Rays decided to stretch him out. And now we flash forward a year, and I'm happy he's still where he's at, and he's still being a solid guy for us.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because it was not only like a year out from when he became his first stretched out start, but it was the same opponent and location. His first stretched out start last year was in Houston it was actually a rubber match, so different situation. But we remember because we talked about it on the show, probably our second episode maybe.
Yeah, second or first, honestly.
I think it was second, but I'm not sure. But anyways, the whole point being, kind of crazy that your anniversary and that is like that spot on. So yeah,
can we get him on the pod?
Maybe.
Can you get
His mom follows the Instagram.
She does. I don't think we've said that on the show.
Shout out Zach Littell's mom,
Mrs. Littell. If you're just so happening to listen, hit up your son. We'd love to have him on the show. We are huge fans.
We are huge fans.
We love the Littell family. Shout out you guys.
Amen. Are we ready for some St. Louis Cardinals baseball with the Rays? This has been
a bad series, and
really
it's not even over yet.
Yeah, really bad series. We are recording on Wednesday, August 7th. Can't believe it's August already. And the Rays have played 2 games already in St. Louis against the Cardinals, a team that came into this series kind of on a bad streak, losing some games. And they're in a wild card chase just like the Rays are in a wild card chase. And the first game, we had Jeffrey Springs making his second start off the IL, facing off against Sonny Gray, a grizzled old veteran, pitching pretty well for the Cardinals this year. But the Rays jumped out with a bang as Brandon Lau, again, second batter, 2 batters in, a 2-run home run. Brandon Lau, no outs, 2-0 Rays. But that was about all the Rays would give. The Cardinals would spring around and fight back. In the top of the second, bottom of the second, Zach Littell bottom of the second, Jeffrey Springs, that's who pitched this game, had some command issues, and he gave up back-to-back hits, and 2 of them were 2-run home runs, and the Cardinals took a 4-2 lead after the bottom of the second, and then there was a lot of no action. Pitching took over. The Rays, after giving a 30-pitch inning in the first inning to Sonny Gray, let him settle in and go 7 innings pitched, only giving up those 2 earned runs that he gave up at the beginning of the game. And it only got interesting in the top of the ninth as the Rays would try to scratch and claw against closer Ryan Helsley. Johnny Lucca would get an RBI single to make it 3-4, but aforementioned, why we're so mad at him, Taylor Walls would be the final out of the game, hitting a ground ball off the pitcher's foot, and a great play by shortstop Mason Wynn to end it. Rays lose 4-3, looking to get back on track with Taj Bradley on the mound, but unfortunately, this would be Taj Bradley's second mediocre start in a row. 4 2/3 innings pitched, 5 earned runs given up. This started in the first inning with an RBI single from Wilson Contreras. The Rays would tie it up, though, in the top of the third to make it 1-1, but bottom of the third, Nolan Arenado would get a 2 RBI double to make it 3-1 Cardinals. And then Alec Burleson would get another 2-run double in the bottom of the fourth to make it 5-1 Cardinals. The Rays would get a sacrifice fly in the top of the sixth in a situation where they had bases loaded, nobody out. They only get 1 run to make it 5-2 Cardinals, and that would be your final score. The Cardinals lead would hold, and the Rays would lose their second in a row to the Cardinals, looking to at least get a game back tomorrow, August 8th at 7:15. We will have Shane Baz against Kyle Gibson. Rays looking to not get swept.
Very frustrating so far. It doesn't matter who it is when you go in to play teams like this. I always am betting on the Rays. This Cardinals team losing their last 4 out of 5 and stretch it out a little bit. It's their last 8 out of 12. They are having hitting struggles of their own, and you just expect the Rays that they're going to go in and do what they're supposed to. Huge series win against Houston. They've been playing pretty well since the trade deadline, and you come in and you lay 2 eggs. And there's a lot of guys to blame. I feel like the first game, no hitting again. We just cannot seem to hit. And this game tonight, a couple of sloppy errors, I think, and Taj just didn't quite have his stuff. But I feel like there's sloppy defense, and then, again, not being able to hit with runners in scoring position. A little bit of unluckiness, though, because one of the plays like Curtis Mead, he hits it foul, and the ball somehow rolls back like right into play. Like, just unlucky stuff. The Rays just cannot seem to get over this hump, and they're right there. Just need to get a couple games above 500, start getting serious about this stuff, and they just cannot do it. And you should have beaten this team 2 games. I know you faced some good pitching, some solid pitching. They went against Fede tonight.
That's 2 games from him. He shut down the Rays when they played against the White Sox in April.
Yeah, but even so,
I'm just saying he owns us. I know. I'm not saying it's okay.
We can't be doing that. And then Sonny Gray looks like an alien.
He looked like 2013 Sonny Gray.
He did. He looked really good. He's been pitching really well the last couple of years, but that performance by the Rays offense is quite frankly unacceptable. You know why? It's one thing to get shut down by a good pitcher. It's another thing to make a pitcher throw 30-plus pitches in the first inning and still let him go 7 innings pitched. That's ridiculous.
That's the most racist.
100%.
Racist.
I forgot about that. Yeah, Sonny Gray went 7.
That is so Rays. And it's ridiculous because it's like how many first pitch pop-ups or 3-pitch strikeouts or non-competitive at-bats do you have to let that happen? There in no world should Sonny Gray be pitching into the 7th, even completing it. Not only did he pitch that deep, he didn't give up another earned run. That's terrible. And Jeffrey Springs, I mean, he looked solid. His first couple innings were pretty shaky, but he settled down and he got through 5. And the Rays did not make Sonny Gray work at all. And it's the same thing that we've been talking about for months and months and months and years, it feels like. The Rays start off hot, and then they don't try to score again until the 9th inning. That was exactly what this game was. This felt like April Rays, and I hated it. There's been a lot of frustration for the 2024 Rays. This was one of the worst losses of the season. Just absolutely 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Unfortunate timing with two-run home runs in the same inning. Tommy Pham hit one of them, of course. Hate that guy.
That gets me pissed. I don't know. Here's the thing. Let's just break it down. Maybe you're different from me, but I really don't care who it is. If you were a former player for any of my teams, if you're playing against me, something about it just makes me hate him even more. So I see Tommy Pham, and some people are like, "Oh, I love Tommy Pham. I wish he was still a Ray."
They wouldn't shut up about
I
it.
hate him. I want to see him strike out every time, and we let him get a home run. Just adds insult to
3
injury.
hits too.
Yeah.
And he just, I don't like him because he was like, well, these games at the Trop are so boring. They're so quiet. And he punched Jock Peterson. Yeah, that's why I don't like him. He punched
over
Mike
fantasy
Pookie.
football.
He punched him.
It was over fantasy football.
I know, it's ridiculous. Tommy Pham, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs.
And if we want to go on the the cutesy side of it, it is kind of cool to see him back in St. Louis.
It's a good trade for them. He's been really good since he came over. And they had a good trade deadline. Fetty and Pham helped them out, but I just don't know if they have enough already there to make the playoffs.
It'd be nice to be in the NL Central.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd be like battling for first still.
And then they got Kittredge, right? What's the pitcher?
And Armstrong. They have Kittredge
Armstrong.
and they have both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, both and Kittredge. I can't remember
Who's
Armstrong.
the one with
Kittredge.
the beard?
He sliced through.
Who's
us.
the one with the beard that they got from him?
Kittredge.
I guess they both. Sean Armstrong has like a.
No, but Kittredge
He's thinking of
is the
Kittredge.
one with the beard because they showed him on TV last night, and it was pretty sad. It was like, oh yeah, he's gone.
Joel, do you know who we traded Kittredge for? It's a guy on our team currently, a beloved member from us TB3 boys.
No, I don't know.
Richie Palacios for Andrew
Who was
Kittredge.
injured.
Yep. Could have been his reunion game, but
Man.
no.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think speaking of reunion games, that's probably why the Rays lost. First game in Busch Stadium. Why isn't Carlson playing, man? Why didn't Carlson play the first game? You know he's probably fired up, and you sit him on the bench the whole day. Kevin Castro, what are we doing, man?
Seriously.
You know it's the first game in Busch Stadium since 2017
It doesn't surprise
for the
me.
Rays.
I don't know how they played 162 games and didn't play every single team for so long.
Yeah, now that they're doing interleague play, it'll be more often. But when I did hear that, I was like, you know what? I really can't remember the last time they played in St. Louis. So.
Okay, so hot take. I don't actually like the evened out schedules in the more
You're a
interleague
baseball
play.
boomer. That doesn't surprise me.
Okay. Understand me on this. Like, I want my rivals. We're done playing the Yankees for the rest of the year.
We've played them 13
I
times
want more.
already.
I want 5 more games. No.
Easy wins. So
No, I agree with you. I want more in division games.
No.
The rivalries. That's how rivalries are made.
No.
I will still hate the Yankees even if we played them one time a year at a neutral site.
Wait a second. Let me go even further. Okay, you want Rays. We want these transplants to let go of their allegiances to their teams, right? Well, if they're coming into our home field every 2 years, they don't have to. They get to see them every 2 years in our stadium. They can keep all their stupid gear and they can hold on to their allegiances.
Wouldn't you have them
it's
play?
bad for us.
Wouldn't you have the rivals play yet less than like they are now, so there's less Yankees fans getting to see the Yankees in Tropicana Field 25 times a season.
What does 7 games versus 11 matter to them? That's not the
There's
issue.
less
Probably a
opportunity. There's less opportunity.
Joel's
Some
thinking
people
about, like,
yearn for baseball.
you're thinking about like Mets fans. Like, I don't care about Mets fans transplants. I care about.
I need
I don't
butts
care.
in my stadium that are wearing Rays merch.
Yeah, that's just the unfortunate not true.
Win a World Series, it'll all change. I guarantee you.
Maybe.
I guarantee it.
All right.
I mean, you're
Hopefully.
absolutely right, but it's gonna come when
Not with this team.
It's gonna come when Dex Imaging buys the team.
Jeff Bezos.
Um.
It's really not much else. I mean,
Well, I was gonna say since July 5th, the day that Shane Baz was inserted to the Rays rotation, the Rays team-wide ERA is 3.01. Pretty stellar number. That's over a full month of baseball, so about 25 games. Really good. And this kind of goes back to Houston, but the Rays bullpen hasn't really given up any runs in St. Louis. Rays bullpen has been fantastic. The Rays now have 5 players that can average 97 miles per hour or more on their fastballs. That would be Pete Fairbanks, Manny Rodriguez, Drew Rasmussen, Hunter Biggie, and Garrett Fat Clevenger. They all can throw gas. They haven't had this many people in their bullpen that can throw that hard since 2020, so that's a really good sign. The bullpen seems to be stronger than ever. And in bullpen, we looked at ERA, we looked at stuff early on in the season. It was down at the bottom. I remember when Zach was on the show, he was pointing out all those stats. Right now, the Rays are 8th over the whole season in MLB with a 1.23 whip out of their bullpen. So, good to see. And, man, I've been loving watching Edwin Uceda pitch. I think he's just fantastic.
He's a demon.
He is just so good. I think he reminds me a lot of Ynier Cano from the Orioles. I think it's from that sidearm angle and just gross changeup, gross slider. Love watching him pitch. Manny Rodriguez, my goodness! Ever since he came off Durham the second time, ever since he got that arm tattoo, been a different dude, man. Been an absolute different dude. That sleeve on his arm has changed him.
It's steroids. There were steroids in the ink.
Okay, let's not accuse anyone of that.
Well, one name you mentioned there who played tonight for the first time since last year, that is Drew Rasmussen, our orange-bearded hero. He is now a reliever. He was a starter last year, if you were wondering where he went, got hurt. Now he's back. Pitched a 1-2-3 inning tonight.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me, man. It's kind of been crazy. I did not think I was going to see Drew Rasmussen until I didn't really think I was going to see him at all this year. He's had 3 major arm surgeries, and it's kind of impressive that he's back. Not only is he back, but he's throwing 98. He was clocked in at 99 in Durham, and obviously him being a reliever has helped him come back quicker, can just have more starts in a shorter amount of time, don't have to wait every 5 days to have a rehab start. Going to be interested to see him out of the pen. Would like to see the Rays get some runs so we can see him in a leverage spot. But, yeah, honestly, inspirational to see Drew Rasmussen. And another big note is he came back and he had his beard. Every time that guy shaves clean-shaven, I get horrified.
Yeah,
Definitely
he needs a
keep the
beard. He looks
Def-
like a Viking or something.
Oh, his
when he's
beard's
got his beard,
fantastic.
when he's shaved.
Yeah. But when he's clean-shaven, is not
Yeah, it's not good.
not good.
But yeah, he's my hero. I'm so happy to see him back. And yeah, like you said, he was hitting 99 in Durham. Tonight, 98.7 was his fastest pitch, so he's right there.
That would clock in as 99 on Fox Sports.
Oh, that's true, yeah. But yeah, to be specific.
Yeah.
So the best is yet to come with him. And all of a sudden, the bullpen's dangerous again.
Yeah.
It is super dangerous. That's just one of the best things about the Rays is all of a sudden, when all seems lost, when everybody's in doubt, they're stronger than ever.
Yeah.
The Rays are sellers at deadlines, and they got a better bullpen. Probably have one of the better starting rotations in the league.
And they can't hit.
And they can't hit the dang baseball.
They can't. It's unfortunate. Really is.
Mm-hmm.
Are we good? Are we ready to predict?
Yeah, man. Let's just get some hits, guys.
So let's get some hits. We're not going to predict we already predict the final game of the Cardinals series. Looking to not get swept. The last time the Rays lost a series, they also got swept. You salvage a game tomorrow. You feel okay about the road trip. It's 3-3. Then the Rays go back home. Couple big series. First off, against a team that they have struggled against, the Rays host the Orioles for 3 games in Tropicana Field. Show up, Rays fans. I hate Orioles fans. They're annoying. Boy. Zach Eflin on Friday. I might have to go to that game and boo him. Zach Eflin versus Zach Littell. Zach versus Zach. Friday, August 9th. Boys, I'm getting chills thinking about it. I'm going to go. I think I might have to go.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I think I might have to go. Very excited. But go there. Boo Zach Eflin because his comments were inappropriate. Boo him.
Rain boos upon him.
Yep. That's gonna be fun. The Zachs facing off.
Man,
I hope we rake off of them. Come on.
Maybe I go to that too.
I might have to, man. Then Saturday,
just to get a chance to boo him.
Yeah.
Maybe do I get a close seat and
just let them have it?
You suck.
The problem is if you do it like if you go to like the Orioles dugout, there's gonna be too many Orioles fans to like really.
It's my stadium. I can say whatever I want.
You're gonna get drained out.
You're gonna get drained out. But anyways, Saturday the Rays have another nationally televised games. I meant to do some digging, but I think the Rays have been pretty good on non-Bally games this year. Because I'm thinking like Apple TV, Tyler Alexander game for sure.
Yeah.
Mets. One of the Mets games where we swept, that was a Fox game. Astros last week was a Fox game. There was another Apple TV game that I'm thinking, but I think the Rays have been pretty good when they're on non-Bally, is what I'm saying. So Saturday, that's a good sign. The Rays are going to have an undecided, probably bullpen day. Maybe we see Drew Rasmussen go in a little bit of a bulk role on Saturday, unless Ryan Pepio's back by then. We shall see. Versus Corbin Burns Saturday night, so that'll be a tough pitching matchup. But Alex Jackson took him deep, so anything is possible. And then on Sunday, Jeffrey Springs is going to face off against an undecided pitcher for the Orioles. I'm pretty sure that would have been Grayson Rodriguez's slot, but he got injured. So Orioles' downfall is real, and it's happening. 3 games, Tropicana Field. Also, hold up, we'll probably predict another 3-game series at home. Houston Astros versus Rays. Once again, Monday night, 6:50. Taj Bradley versus Framber Valdez. That's a good pitching matchup. Then Tuesday night, 6:50. Shane Baz versus Yusei Kikuchi. Don't let him strike you out 11 times again. And then Wednesday at 6:50. Zach Littell versus Ronel Blanco, a rematch of the last time they played. So some good pitching matchups coming up. 6 games in Tropicana Field. Joel, I will go to you because you were so positive, even if it's not paying off. I
was just kind of like walking back and thinking about it. I'm like, I'll throw some shout outs out right now. You got depressed Rays fan. I think I might need to go with a new nickname. I think I might need to go bipolar Rays fan.
Ooh, okay.
Because like I'm off the boat. We're sinking. How many games do we got to go? 6.
6. He's gonna say 1 and 5.
I mean, like it's on the tip of my tongue. I just built all that up. I gotta go 1 and 5.
I knew it. And will the Rays have a home run hitter?
Is that what we're doing now?
No.
Hear me out.
You have to pick.
Can I make a call? Can I say no home runs hit in the next 6 games?
Sure, man.
I'm going bold. I'm going bold negative. No home runs hit in the next 6 games.
That's fair. It happens.
And that'll be on
Cold
Takes
TV3. That's gonna be on the
special edition.
Yeah, like just right there. But bold take. I'm gonna be wrong, but I'm making it. Taking that take.
Yeah, you know what? Orioles are coming in town. A lot of people are scared of them. Guess what? I'm not. When you have Zach Eflin on your team, you're bound to lose a game, most likely if he's starting.
He's had 2 pretty good starts, too. He's bound to coin flip in Tropicana Field.
Yeah, Mr. Coin Flip at his finest. And you know what? I'm sorry. You can't. The baseball gods cannot allow him to say that and get away with it. Okay? The Rays need to win that game. But the Orioles, they're kind of cooling off. They have not played well as of recently. Jackson Holiday, though, 3 home runs in 3 games in a row. It's like the youngest guy ever to do it. Makes me angry. Hate seeing him succeed. Sorry, I'm a hater. I hate the Orioles. I hate the teams in the AL East.
That their number 1 prospect isn't a pedophile, a predator. We'll call it what it is. That's what Ronda Franco is. So
A criminal, a felon.
yeah, but he's a pedophile too.
Rotten prison. No, listen. I'm not scared of the Orioles. They're cooling off. I think the Astros, take what you learned from the series you just played against them and get a couple wins out of that. You know what? I'm going to be very optimistic. It's a home series. We can't sweep anybody, but I think we win the 2 series. We are going to go 4-2. Give it to me. And you know what, man? I just can't stop thinking about him. He's been on my mind all day. Brandon Lau's getting the home run. He's going to continue to stay hot.
That's a good pick.
You know, today, like his first at bat, he goes up, 2-0 count. Next 3 pitches, strikes. I was like, man, that's Brandon Lau. But I love him, man. I love him. He can do no wrong in my eyes right now. I'm like,
he's so good.
It's that love-hate relationship, but like when you love him, you just love him so much. Mm-hmm. I'm in the honeymoon phase with him. Brandon Lau.
My fantasy team says more about me than things on this podcast. I do have Brandon Lau on my team right now. Just looking forward to his home runs. So if he gets a home run, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be happy, satisfied, all the words.
Well, you're a Rays fan. You should be happy at every home run, even if it contradicts your
Joel's fantasy team is definitely not a Rays fan, let me tell you.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like I just said, we're not getting a home run this week, but like I'll smile if Brandon Lau gets me one and I'm wrong.
I felt bad actually about I felt bad about it because, and I'm glad nobody caught it, but I'll admit it. I added Fide, but not for tonight because they were playing the Rays. I added him a couple days ago. Just so happens his first points on my team went at the Rays' expense, and I feel guilty about it.
It's not a bad. I can't get mad at you for doing that. It's just good baseball.
I don't like doing that, though. It makes me want to root against the Rays. I don't want it.
You're looking at the stats, and you're making an educated decision.
I look at it as a win-win because it's like, if the Rays do well, I'm happy because I'm taking the Rays doing well over anything. I don't care about my fantasy team that much, even though it's spectacular. But if the Rays do bad...
best in the league.
Yeah, but we'll talk playoff time. If the Rays do bad... then at least I'm getting fantasy points. Like I see it as a win-win. I'm all about this strategy.
I'm gonna start benching my guys if they go against the Rays.
Wow, chill.
I've made the decree.
So you are honorable, man.
Pitchers only though. Batters if they
because you already locked in the number 1 spot.
Actually, I've locked in. I've clinched the division. But I still think if I lose out and Colby wins, he'll get the number 1 seed. I need to win.
There's no home.
I got like a game and a half right now, but I don't know. I'd rather play Luke than you, Joel, because your team could just get hot in the playoffs, and I don't want to face it.
I appreciate that.
I'd rather play Luke. I have never lost to Luke in the history of the TB3 Fantasy League.
Wow, shows. But I'm gonna give you my picks because we do have to get the Bucs football. I'm right there with you, Will. I think we're going 4-2. I think the Rays, are 1-6 against the Orioles this year. That's a trend that's going to be bucked. There's no way the Rays are going to lose another series, and maybe I'm going to get clipped and it's not going to be good. But I don't think the Rays are going to lose another series to the Orioles. I would like to say they sweep, but I just don't see this team.
The Rays can't sweep.
They
that,
can't.
Unfortunately.
They just don't do that.
They're allergic to them.
2 out of 3 for the Rays against the Orioles, and then at home, you got Taj, you got Littell. You got I think it was Boz going again. I like 2 out of 3 against the Astros, and I'm gonna say Yanni Diaz hits a couple home runs at home. I think he's gonna get the ball in the air and he's gonna hit a couple bombs. It's gonna be nice to see.
Put that one on the oopsie take.
Whatever. Anyways, Bucs football. If you did not know, the Bucs, they play a game this week. Preseason week 1 is on Saturday, and we're going to tell you a little bit about training camp and what you need to know going into this preseason week 1.
Yeah, man, I am so excited. As Gene Deckerhoff would say, I'm ready for toe to hit leather. Fire the cannons. Let's go, Buccaneers. First preseason game, Saturday, 7 p.m. I believe it's locally on NBC. Don't quote me on that, News Channel 8. I want to say it's that. If you have NFL Plus, you can probably watch it on there, $6.99 a month. I just got it today just in case to be safe. I will be watching every second of Bucs preseason.
Love it.
And, I don't know. It's not like spring training. It's not like NHL preseason. You need to watch. You need to see what your team's going to look like. Anything can happen in the NFL. It's the shortest season out of the bunch. Injuries happen. Stars come alive. You got to watch because there's specific battles we need to see, and it's crucial for the Bucs if they want to go on a deep playoff run like we all expect them to do. That being said, their opponent, the Cincinnati Bengals, very disappointing season last year. They're fired up. Their king, their hero, Joe Burrow's back, and he's going to be playing. So it's going to be pretty important to see how the Bucs defense will play against Joey B and those good Cincinnati Bengals wide receivers.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about last year's week 1 preseason game, and I think it's easy to kind of look at the preseason and be like, oh, the starters aren't playing. We probably won't see Mike Evans or Levante David or maybe even Baker Mayfield. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I think some of the stuff that we saw in preseason week 1 came and kind of showed its head later on in the season. Like, I'm thinking about KJ Britt was a preseason star last year, and he ends up playing huge playoff minutes and snaps later on down the road and becoming the starting linebacker. And then, even think about Trey Palmer. That's a guy that caught everyone's eye last year in the preseason, and that's kind of, if you were a Bucs fan, you kind of saw it coming. And then towards the end of the season, he starts to break out, and he starts to play really good football. And it's like you go back to the preseason, and we're like, man, that guy stuck out. Even last year, there was a quarterback battle going on during preseason. We won't have that type of, content and coverage for something that interesting this year, but it's important to see these battles. Any championship team has to have depth. So maybe these guys playing aren't going to be competing for starting spots. But if someone goes down, or if someone, you got to have depth. Different packages, different, personnel groups, stuff like that. You have to have depth. And I think the Bucs did a good job at addressing it. And I'm excited to see these new depth pieces or young pieces play this week 1 of the preseason.
Yeah, and anybody could go down at any given moment. Last week, we saw Suo Peta go down with a torn ACL. He's out for the year. Additionally, we saw Yaya Diaby go down and gets carted off the field. Thankfully, thank goodness, it seems like it's a high ankle sprain. He should be ready to go week 1 against the Commanders.
You know what I saw? He's not even in a walking boot.
He's
an alien. He's a freak, bro.
He is a freak in nature. He's probably better now. They're just, taking it slow. He's a prized possession.
Play in the preseason. So,
but like I said, injuries could happen. We don't know. Nothing's certain in the NFL. So these are really important games to see. Not only, who can be good backups, but who might end up getting playing time because you never know what happens. I think it's important we start here on the defense. I think defense I think that has the most battles, really. I feel like the offense is mostly set. We can get to some of the stuff in a second, but I think we want to go defense. I think big position right now is our edge rushers, our outside linebackers. Yaya Diaby's not playing. Can we see if someone like Chris Braswell can step up to the plate, become a good pass rusher? I know he's had a pretty solid camp, but there's some stuff that works in college that, quite frankly, doesn't work in the NFL. And don't take my word for it, take Braswell's, because that's exactly what he said. So can he be a guy to step up and give some pressure for this defense, allow the DBs to have shorter time to cover? Again, we saw when quarterbacks have time against the Bucs defense, it doesn't really bode well. We need pass rushing. We desperately need it. So I'm looking for Chris Baswell. Can he make some plays? And JTS, Joe Tyron Shorinka, he'll probably still play. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't.
He was banged up earlier this week.
He was a little banged up.
But he was back playing. So
yeah, we'll see what happens, but we need to see some pass rush. I think you're pretty solid interiorly with Vita Vea and Kalijah Cansey. I don't know if Vita Vea will play. Probably Cansey will get some reps. We'll see.
Probably.
What are your guys' thoughts on that kind of pass rush? We can even go D-line as a whole.
But yeah, I think honestly, I'm looking at the guy that's the list that started right now, and that's JTS, Joe Tryon Shoyinka. I think the Bucs they flat out told him they drafted his replacement. They drafted a guy that easily could be his replacement, a guy that might not be ready this year, but he has all the talent. He's a freak of nature. I'm talking about Chris Braswell. Joe Tryon Shoyinka is kind of on his last leg as a Buck. This is a prove-it year for him. I don't know. This might just flat out prove-it year for Joe Tryon Shoyinka. Just want to see him just compete in the preseason and improve the pass rush. I think it's well documented. He's a really good run defender. That's going to give him time on the field regardless. But if he wants to break out, if he wants to get the contract like a premium outside linebacker, stuff like that, he has to be able to put pressure on the quarterback. And this team needs him to put pressure on the quarterback. I just think that was probably one of the biggest glaring weaknesses of the Bucs. Addressed it in the draft, tried to address it in free agency. Randy Gregory's not going to work out. So I'm looking at JTS and saying, man, we need you to become the guy we drafted in the first round those years ago.
Completely agree. Joel, you have anything to add?
It's just great hearing football names again. I love this time of year.
It is very good. I think then we move on to linebacker because that's something I'm very interested in. You have Levante David. He's your leader, longest tenured Buck on the team. I mean, what more can you say about him? Like fine wine. He might get better with age. We're looking for another solid season on him. He probably won't play. I'm not really expecting to see him, but I am expecting to see two linebackers. And I still think pass rush is important, but it could be 1A, 1B type thing. Who's going to come out as the next best linebacker out of that group? Will it be KJ Britt? Will it be Servace Dennis? Todd Bowles said earlier in camp that Servace Dennis is going to play a huge role in this defense. We'll see what that entails. But KJ Britt, man, he took over for Devin White last year and really didn't give that position up. However, there is some issues with his pass coverage abilities. He does tend to get burnt quite a bit. He's very good in the run game, but pass coverage is a little iffy. So I'm looking to see, especially with the quarterback of the caliber of Joe Burrow and the receivers the Bengals have, not sure if they're all playing, but still, this is a high-powered offense in the AFC North that has been to the Super Bowl in the past couple years. Can this guy play solid in the pass game? Now, that could mean that Servace Dennis gets his time to shine because he is excellent in the pass coverage. He's played very well this year. Last year in camp, he had a bunch of interceptions. This year, he already has a pick six, making a ton of plays. Who's going to step up in the position group? Then we get to the wild card here, Kalen DeLoach. Whoa! Undrafted free agent, former Florida State Seminole, number 4. Kalen DeLoach, a big surprise to a lot of people. Not me. To some people. Not me. He was in the second team on the Bucs official depth chart, their first official depth chart. He was on the second team defense. Let's see what he has to bring to the table. A lot of times you're practicing every day. You're getting used to what the offense is showing you. You're getting used to how these guys run their routes or how the run fits are. Now you're playing against a different team. Can he continue to turn it up? And will he make the team? Will he be a very vital role to that defense? That's something I'm very much looking forward to seeing.
I think it's almost certain I think he's going to make the team, just especially in a guy that Will didn't mention, another preseason star of last year, I'll say. J.J. Russell, he had a really good preseason. I'm blanking on the game, but he had a really good game last year. What was the game we had all the linebackers hurt? Was that Saints? Or what was the game Ryan Neal had to play linebacker?
Oh, goodness.
I was trying to think. Was
Panthers?
Maybe it was Panthers, the first Panthers game. It was the first Panthers game. Had a really good game in that one. I know he was pressing action, had a really good game, but he's definitely going to be around. Probably one of those guys will be a practice squad. I would assume Deloach makes the team, and J.J. Russell is a practice squad player for the Bucs. Maybe not. We'll see. But I think what it comes down to in this linebacker battle is which of the linebackers is going to be the most well-rounded. Like Will mentioned, K.J. Britt, his strength is in the run game. He makes plays. He makes tackles for losses. He pursues the football. Great tackler. Love watching him play. Servache Dennis, I mean, looking back at the preseason last year, because that's most of the snaps he played because he was injured so often during the regular season, the pass coverage is what stuck out to me. And I mean, I watch football. I like football. I'm not a football guy. I'm not someone who played football or coaches or breaks down film like that. But just watching the games and, giving my 2 cents on it, Servache Dennis's pass coverage was phenomenal in the last preseason. It's jumped off the tape, if you will. So both those guys do the opposite thing good. Could benefit when you want to switch out and make substitutions for, obvious throwing or obvious running downs. But you want to have well-rounded players on the team. I think I'm going to say it. I think KJ Britt is going to be the starting linebacker. I just love watching him play, and I do think he's athletic enough and versatile enough to, fix that pass coverage a little bit. I mean, he was just pressed into action. That was his first year starting at linebacker, so I'm pretty high on KJ Britt, and I'm excited to watch him. But I'm excited to watch all these linebackers play. I wouldn't even hate seeing Kalen DeLoach get in that starting spot. I was pretty. You guys know me, huge FSU hater. I was pretty surprised he wasn't drafted. I mean, even looking back at that Florida game, that dude was everywhere in that game. Just
what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay, you can stop now. But yeah, I enjoy watching all of them play. I think the Bucs have a great linebacker coaching staff. I think they've had good linebackers for, the last 10 years, ever since Levante David. Another thing to note is these guys have probably one of the most well-rounded and successful linebackers ever, especially in Bucs history, to teach them how to be well-rounded, to teach them how to play the run game, to teach them how to drop back in coverage. So I think if I was to predict, I would say KJ Britt's going to get that starting spot. But it's going to be a battle, especially with Servache and KJ Britt. So when you're watching the game, when you're watching the defense, look and see those guys. Looking to see who's getting open. Are the slot receivers getting open? Are the running backs getting free in the pass coverage? Are there gaping holes right down the middle of the field, depending on who's on the field? Who knows? We'll have to see, and that's kind of what you guys should be watching if you're trying to really deep dive into these Bucs preseason games.
Speaking of gaping holes on the defense, a big part where we don't want that to happen is the secondary. What are your thoughts on the secondary, Colby?
Well, I do want to kind of throw a shout out because there's been an undrafted free agent out of Appalachian State, Tyreek Funderburk, who has been balling out. He's picked off Baker Mayfield a couple times, and he's going to get some time in the preseason to kind of show if he can be, maybe cornerback 3, cornerback 4. And I think I'm interested to see. I don't know if Zion McCollum's going to play, but I'm interested to see Zion McCollum. I was thinking about last year. Zion McCollum was also another big story about the preseason.
He got burned against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he did. I remember that.
Gave up a bomb.
That's true. See, it's all coming back to me now.
We were there at that game. That was our first TV3 correspondence, I believe.
Yes, it was.
I don't know if we'd gone to a Rays game at that point yet.
No, for sure. That was our first one for sure. We coined the term. But Zion McCollum, I would like to see him get as many reps as possible. Definitely a guy who had some high ups and some low downs last year. But all the talk and the buzz and just what people have been saying about Zion McCollum at camp has been good. It's been really good. People have been raving about him and his athleticism, his improved coverage ability. He's gotten a couple interceptions. So excited to see him potentially take that next step because that's kind of what it seems like everyone's kind of saying he's going to do. So hoping to see that, hoping to see him play in this preseason to kind of prove what people are saying about him. But then as you look at cornerback 3 and cornerback 4. It's going to be interesting. I know you got Bryce Hall in the mix. Like I said, Tyreek Funderburk, who I'd like to see kind of get that spot because there's something about the undrafted guys, getting in there. Like you think about Christian Eisen and just kind of like their mentality. He's a rookie. This is a guy who's like, everything he's getting with the Bucs, he's earned. He started off with nothing, no draft spot, no nothing. That's kind of what I'd like to see him get over a guy like Josh Hayes or maybe even Bryce Hall. But I mean, it's going to be interesting. Definitely, like we said, depth. I think the Bucs did a better job of addressing depth in the secondary because that was a problem last year. I mean, Dean or Davis went down last year, and the Bucs were in for a world of hurt. But now you have McCollum taking over that spot. You got Bryce Hall, who can play the outside spots. You got Tavier Thomas, who can play inside, which that's a heated battle too in that nickel spot because Eisen, Tyke Smith, and Tavier Thomas are all fighting for that spot and have all played pretty well. I would say Christian Eisen got a sack. Tyke Smith's making plays. So nickel is also a spot to watch in the secondary as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love saying Tyreek. It's Tyrek for those of you who don't know. It's not Tyrek, T-Rex. It is Tyreek.
Okay.
Tyreek Funderburk. What a fun name to say. Let's get him on the team, but you're exactly right. He has been having a phenomenal camp. Another name that you mentioned, Tyke Smith. 2 newcomers to the team, both rookies, but they have been turning heads this whole summer. That is a pretty packed position group or position battle, I would say, which is very good. Good problem to have, and they're all been playing very well. I think what I'm looking most for with this secondary is interceptions. Let me get 1 or 2 this game. I would really love to see 1 or 2 against the Bengals. If it's not Burrow, so what?
If you get one off Burrow,
A plus. Yes. But if you get 1 or 2, it wasn't against Burrow, I will be completely okay. The Bucs have struggled to get interceptions the past couple seasons, and in camp now, here we go. They've gotten about 14 off the Bucs offense. So let's translate that into the game. More turnovers. We need to get turnovers. Give Baker in that offense short fields and score some points. So I would love to see some interceptions from that defense.
So
that would be such a cool way to welcome Joe Burrow back. It's like, hey, welcome back.
A Tyreek Funderburk interception. Welcome back to
Funderburk.
Joe Burrow. What I wanted to ask you guys was when the depth charts came out this week, pretty much all of the rookies and the second-year players were probably a position lower than what we kind of thought they would be. Graham Barton was second string. Bucky Irving was third string. Who's the other rookie then? Like Braswell was second string. McMillan was under Trey Palmer.
Fourth string, basically.
Yeah. My question would be, do you guys think Todd Bowles is putting that out of respect to the older players, or do you guys think Todd Bowles truly gave a clean slate to this first depth chart?
Yeah, well, I think with the NFL, you're a professional athlete. You are one of the very, very few guys who played football, put on shoulder pads, strapped your chin strap, who've been able to play in the NFL. You've earned that spot. I think it is 100% more of a respect thing. Giving these guys, the starters, their chance, or the veterans, their chance to prove themselves first before you let the rookies come in and take it. There's plenty of guys who I think will kind of jump back up. I think Graham Barton specifically. I know there's been some talks about him struggling with the snap, which is true. He's playing a new position. He didn't normally play center. It's something new for him. Learning how to get the counts down and stuff like that. It's important how Baker wants the ball given to him. So I think he'll adjust and he'll get that. There's been nothing technically wrong with him or him missing blocks or giving up a bunch of sacks. It's really just been he had a couple bad snaps here and there. So there's no panic there. I think he'll start. One thing, though, Jalen McMillan has been playing lights out in camp. But per Greg Allman, Bucs insider, covers the NFC South with Fox Sports, he's saying he's kind of stolen the show, but Trey Palmer has still been playing very well on top of that. So you still might see Trey Palmer above McMillan because Trey Palmer has been playing very good as well. And that's not really a bad thing. That's not really a bad thing at all. So I think we'll see some of these guys hop up. I'm not so sure about Bucky Irving. Let's see what happens with Chase Edmonds here because he did go down with an injury. He practiced one day, gets hurt, undisclosed. We don't know exactly what it is. Haven't seen him since, but like I said, he's a savvy veteran. He's very solid. Like I wouldn't necessarily I'm not upset. Like, oh, where's Bucky Irving? Why is he not getting more reps?
I also think with Bucky Irving, with all reports of the Liam Cohen offense, I think. Oh, sorry, guys. I think they're going to find a way to get him the ball. He doesn't have to necessarily be running back 2 to get the ball. I mean, he's going to probably be the kick returner, I think.
He is the kick returner,
He's going to be the kick returner, so he's going to get the ball that way. Punt returner 2, I'm assuming, or maybe Trey Palmer. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know, but they were talking kick return. I don't know punt.
For sure. So we'll see him there.
It's a surprise for the game.
You could even think like a pop pass to Bucky Irving, a screen, like putting him in the game and finding him a way to get him the ball. That's going to be okay. They're going to give him the ball whether he's running back 2 or running back 3. I don't think that's going to change anything. I just think Chase Edmonds is running back 2 just because he can come in on third down and
he's a great pass catcher too. People cannot forget that he is very good out of the backfield running routes. And he's been solid running the ball. I've had no complaints with him. He's been on a couple different teams that he's played extremely well. So I'm not going to be disappointed if he's number 2 behind Rachaad White.
As we go back to offense, I think we can start at the quarterback position real quick. Quarterback 1 is pretty set in stone, but quarterback 2 is
Tom Brady?
Not. Tom Brady.
If only.
And Jameis Winston and Baker Mayfield are our quarterback room. No. Quarterback 1, Baker Mayfield's going to be your starter. We don't have any questions about that. But quarterback 2 is still in question. Kyle Trask has taken the majority of snaps as quarterback 2. But John Wolford has a little bit of advantage because he was under the Liam Cohen offense in Los Angeles. And Kyle Trask has missed a couple throws, thrown a couple interceptions recently. So it's going to be interesting. I think both of them will play on Saturday to see which quarterback plays better, which quarterback's hitting their throws, which quarterback is running the offense, because that is something that Todd Bowles stressed. He said he thought Kyle Trask was doing a really good job running the offense and getting the plays and the players and the checks right. So that's something that's going towards Kyle Trask. And you guys know me, I love Kyle Trask. So I would like to see him succeed and at least be the backup quarterback. Yeah, there you go.
I was going to say, we've been doing a lot of alls.
Yeah, come on, Kyle, man.
Come on, win
It
this.
really shouldn't be a battle. I know Walford might have the slight upper hand because he's been in that system with the Rams. Come on, now. We need you. We need you. If Baker goes down, I want some Trask time. I want to see it. So let's get better. Let's see a couple touchdown passes, maybe 2. 2 would look very good on a resume. Let's see it.
Moving down, I think tight end is an interesting position because Cade Otton is... So, actually, let's back up. Saturday. You know what I'm most excited to see out of anything any position battle, any player? I'm excited to see Liam Cohen. I'm excited to see what offensive plays he runs. Obviously, you're not going to throw all your tricks out in the preseason, but we're going to see kind of the vibe of the offense. I mean, every report, everything, people are just raving about the Liam Cohen offense, how the motion is so much better. There's so much more pre-snap motion. The tight ends are more involved. The receivers are getting out in space. The running game looks a lot better. So everything I've heard about the offense in training camp has gotten me really, really excited, especially with what Cohen's doing. So I'm excited to see what type of plays and what the offense looks from Liam Cohen, especially when it comes to tight end play, which Cade Otton has had a great camp. He is your tight end 1. Love to see that. Had a great end of the season, and he's building off that. But draft pick this year, was he 7th round? Devin Culp, was he the 7th round pick? I don't remember, but 6th round pick. Devin Culp has given Payne Durham a run for his money for tight end 2, having a really good camp. So it's going to be interesting to see which one of those guys performs to become that backup tight end who's going to get a lot of action in this Liam Cohen offense, because O'Keefe is a tight end, but he's a extra lineman.
He's what we call a swole back.
Yeah, there we go.
A swole back.
There we go. But yeah, any thoughts on the tight end position, boys?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good to have a lot of good tight ends, and I feel like in modern day NFL, they're really all pass catchers. You utilize a lot of different tight ends. There's a lot of 12 personnel where you got 2 of them, and so on. So I'm excited to see what these younger guys can bring, and I think we truly need a backup for Cade Otton. Somebody's really got to take the reins, whether it be Payne Durham or Culp. I'd like to see Payne Durham get some more reps, because I think he's got great hands. Maybe the best hands on the team. That dude can snag some stuff. I've seen a lot of great catches from him. But I think Cade Otton specifically, this is your breakout year. I even said last year I was hoping he was going to end up kind of becoming Baker's number 1 target, his kind of go-to guy. Didn't quite see that. And a lot of people have been concerned with his his yards after catch. I'd like to see him make some more plays, shed some tackles. You can't go down right away off the first guy. Make a couple moves, make some people miss. I really want to see that.
My favorite aspect of a tight end is blocking ability. So whoever comes out, whoever's the best blocker, I would love to see that. Like, that was always my favorite thing about Gronk. Gronk could just like plug a hole, and it was like more time to throw.
And I think that's why Cade Otton is number 1. Is he has the most well-rounded game out of any of the tight ends right now. Payne Durham's mostly a pass catcher with those fantastic hands that Will mentioned.
Where's 87 too?
Oh yeah, it's good.
That catch against the Falcons, man, I thought it was Gronk.
Well, and I saw one against the Colts too. He had last year where he just plucked it off the dude's head. Special. I saw that video the other day. Yeah, I was going to say, on the offensive line, obviously Suat-Peta is gone, so he's injured, so it's going to be interesting to see who gets that backup left guard spot under Ben Brenderson. Some guys in the mix, Elijah Klein, a new undrafted guy that I'm blanking on the name, but some guys in the mix.
Got the guy from UTEP.
Yep, that's Elijah Klein.
Yeah.
That's Elijah Klein. But yeah, we'll see who's in the mix and who's,
Really, I think
getting that backup spot.
Yeah, with the O-line,
Brandon Walton, he's a tackle though. I think
I don't want to hear about him. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
If I'm not, as long as I'm not seeing your name come up, as long as I'm not pointing you out, it's probably a good thing. I just be a solid guy. That's all we need. It's been 2 years now where left guard has been the issue. Definitely not left tackle. It's not been the issue. But left guard has. Brenderson, just be a guy. Just be solid. That is all we need. Yep. And then we really will have a solid offensive line. Tristan Wirfs got paid?
Did we talk about that? I don't know, but
I don't think we did. That boy got paid, man.
That was awesome. Love to see that. The Bucs this offseason has just been so impressive for the Bucs to keep all their mainstay players and get better too. But now they have all their core pieces locked down. In a season of other Tampa teams getting rid of their stars, the Bucs have done none of that. So shout out Jason Light.
Jason Light.
Jason Light, man.
Jason.
He's becoming one of the best GMs in Tampa
I think he's the best
history.
now.
He might be.
I hate JBB.
If he gets another Super Bowl, for sure. But Stevie Y might be up there.
He was up there, yeah.
Best one going right now is Jason Light.
For sure.
Jason Light's number 1 for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Steve Yzerman. Yeah, you can really see who's the brains behind the Lightning. Yeah, that's pretty clear cut and simple. I still think we need to go riot Amalie Arena. Get this guy out in the streets. Make him answer to the fans. Well, revolution!
Well, on that note, I think we should predict.
I don't want to cause an insurrection. All jokes aside.
Put Zach Eflin and JBB tie them up together and let the fans get them.
Like I said, the bounty's still there. MLB players listening.
I'm like a Joker trap where they're like on a roller coaster and they have to get out or they get burnt or something. Maybe a little harsh, but don't like them. Before we go, Bengals Bucs. What did you say? 7 p.m. on local.
7 p.m. local TV, which I am 98.
It's NBC, I think.
9% News Channel 8, NBC. Or you can listen to it on 98 Rock with Gene Deckerhoff, which is 97.9 FM. Fire the cannons, get them going.
Amen. So, we got any predictions real quick? I know we'll just...
I think, instead of predictions, because, the Bucs could play the best game ever and lose 18-13, and it's all field goals. I think let's see what we want to see the most out of everything. Right. What do we want to see the most? What will we be the most satisfied about? Starting with Mr. Joel to my left. The viewers right.
Interceptions. If we could get one interception, great. 2 interceptions, awesome.
All right, interceptions. I want to see KJ Britt and or Servace Dennis play well. I want to see someone be the clear favorite for that linebacker spot. I also want to see Zion McCollum not get burnt at all. I don't want to see any long plays over Zion McCollum's head. I want to see Kyle Trask have an efficient game with no turnovers, and I want to see some of these new rookies get out there, get fast, get active, and see some of the explosiveness that the Bucs have on this team right now, especially with their new offensive coordinator, Liam Cohen, who I want to see give us one play that makes us go, wow, at the end on next week's episode. Like, wow, that was crazy.
Yeah,
like to see him
I need like a highlight reel.
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of wrap it up in a whole. I would love to see a rookie make a play. Specifically, Chris Braswell. Let's see a sack, buddy. Let's see a sack. But let me see one rookie make a notable play. But let's go and see what does Todd Bowles want to see. He wants to see less penalties. He said that's what they've been working on in camp. Less penalties. Let's see if it translates, guys. So I think that is it for your Buccaneers. Make sure to tune in because we definitely will.
We will be. And that's about all for us. Episode 50. We have a surprise coming out, a short episode.
We do have that, yes.
We do have a
Keep
surprise.
going. Just don't end it before I got to say something.
Okay. We have a surprise coming out, a little short video of some of our best and worst takes. So that'll be on YouTube and all platforms we are on. Also, yeah, well, what you guys say?
Yeah, so 50th episode, comment down below if you have a favorite memory from the show. Bonus entry if you can name the specific episode, favorite memory from the show. Bonus 50 episode. If we get 10 comments on YouTube, I will give one lucky fan the 2024 Bucs sideline hat. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but it's pretty cool.
All right.
It's got the rope thing.
Okay.
It's got the rope thing over the brim. Yeah. I love that kind of. It's the sailor hats or whatever they call it. I'm getting one, and I will get you one. 10 comments.
All right. That's awesome with me. Sounds good with me. That's our 50th episode. Thank you guys again and again. Thank you guys for any support, like, comment, video, watch, whatever. Thank you guys so much. We will be back with 51, though. We're not done. Hope you guys have a beautiful and blessed night, and good night.